Hi, today I want to talk about serendipity, synchronicity, what some people call coincidences, miracles. I like to call them God incidences. That's God incidences. And I believe that you should write down and pay attention to the things that are serendipitous and kind of, have that little bit of a miracle aha feeling about them. And I have, this is my book that I use to write specifically miracles, signs, God incidences, dreams, visions, um, wonders, thoughts, and when I get inspiration or an intuition about something. So, for example, the thing that prompted me today to even talk about this is that I just noticed that over the last several days, I happened to be listening and watching some Abraham Hicks videos. And one of the gals that came up, I think it was their Asheville workshop that was uh, in 2015. And this one gal, she was so excited and she was wearing this bright yellow top and she couldn't wait to get into the hot seat. And she got into the hot seat and then she sat down and she was like, oh, giddy with joy. And it just so happened that she had a necklace and her necklace said happy. It was either happy or happiness. And Esther Hicks happened to make note of that. And one of the things that the gal talked about was the fact that she would give keys to everybody, but never had received a key from anybody until recently. Just a few days before, she had received not just a key, but a prosperity key. And so she was very ecstatic about that because she knew she was on the right path. She knew she was aligned. She knew that she was, tuned in, tapped in, turned on. And so she was very excited and thrilled with that. And I thought, gee whiz, I remembered how several years ago somebody had given me a prosperity key, and I've had that in my purse for kind of a long time now. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to get another, prosperity key or keys in general? And I have a thing for old-fashioned keys. And so I just kind of thought that in passing and kind of let it glow. And Esther talked about how with thoughts we create things, and that when we start to take notice of these things, how they go from thought form to our 3D world where we actually see them in this physical manifestation, that we should take note of that because it starts to give us more indicators so that we can manifest bigger and better things that we really truly want. And so, for example, she talked about how she had this gal that she was coaching, and she told the gal to think about blue glass. And the gal's like, why would we do that? And she's like, that's because you don't have any resistance towards blue glass. And so, think about blue glass. And she thought, well, that's ridiculous. So Esther said, well, okay, well, how about feathers? And the gal's like, that's ridiculous. And she said, well, how about butterflies? And the gal just basically said, just forget about it. The gal apparently was very filled with resistance and just wouldn't go with the flow. So she ended up, quitting. Well, later that day, Esther just so happened to be in San Diego, and she went to this on her way with Jerry to this place called George's, a restaurant down there. She had this impulse to go into this shop before they went, to eat dinner. And she went into the shop, and wouldn't you know it, she happened to see this entire wall with all these blue glass figurines. And then she looked over to the other side of the shop and she happened to see feathers. And she also saw all these different types of butterflies. And she thought, and at the moment she didn't think of it until she left the store. And as she left the store, she realized, oh my gosh, that conversation that just happened 2 hours ago, how quickly in her experience, something that she didn't have, it was just a thought form. She was thinking, how to attract blue glass, feathers, or butterflies. It was just a suggestion that she gave to this other lady. This lady would have nothing to do with it. And Esther, because she was willing to go with the flow, it was just something that would be easy to show you how things can come into being. She immediately, manifested it. And so it was funny because I just listened to that video, and then on Sunday I happened to be on, basically moseying around, so to speak, at Bellaterra Mall here in Huntington Beach. And I walked into the House of Imports, or the World Market actually is what it's called. And when I walked in, immediately to the right, I saw this coat hanger that was all fashioned with old-fashioned keys. And I saw it and I thought, oh my gosh, how cool. Look at that coat hanger. It's made of old-fashioned keys. And then I thought, oh my gosh, that's because I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice to, bring in some old-fashioned keys? And boom, there it was at the, House of the World Market. And I thought, how funny, how quickly I was able to manifest that. And so the other thing is, I happened to watch a movie 2 nights ago. And in the movie, the movie was called Love Potion Number 9, and it was with Sandra Bullock. I can't remember the name of the guy that was in the film, but it was a really funny film because, she does lots of funny films. But in the film, she's a scientist, and of course, one of her love interests is also a scientist. And they come up with this love potion number 9, where when you, spray it in your mouth, it affects the like the person that comes in contact with you. It has an effect on them where the pitch of your voice resonates with them, and it affects them with a feeling of love towards you. And that's why it was called Love Potion Number 9. And I thought, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be cool to have something like that? And I thought, what a cool idea. And I was thinking about tones and sounds and about sacred tonal sounds and sacred tonal geometry and so forth, after I watched the film and so forth. And, that was that. It's a film. It's just, kind of make believe and so forth. Well, interestingly enough, without my even trying, I happened to be watching this psychologist named Ralph Smart. And wouldn't you know, the video that I happened to watch on him, he starts to talk about sacred tonal sounds and resonance. And I thought, that's a manifestation, because I thought, wouldn't it be nice if from that movie, because that movie's total make-believe. But now here's this legitimate psychologist here from California, Ralph Smart, who's talking about the exact same thing. And I thought, of all the videos that I could have picked to watch, I happened to watch the one that had to do with that. And the title wasn't even titled that. Right now, I don't remember what it was titled. But I thought, that's interesting. And then that particular topic of sound and how sound affects you, and how there are healing sounds and how there are loving sounds and and so on and so forth, has come up 2 or 3 times since. So I thought, okay, well, I got to document these things, because part of what we start to see is you start to see certain patterns, how you start to bring things faster into your experience when you start putting together the daisy chain link, if you will, of coincidences, miracles, serendipity, and so forth. And so it's good to document them. So this is what my book looks like. Mine started, I don't know if you could see, started it back in, I have it for like multiple things, not just the serendipitous type stuff. And what I do so that I can pull, look back at things, like, for example, this morning I had an interesting dream. So in the corner, what I do is, can you see it here? I put it in a box. I write dream, and of course I have the date, and it says Wednesday morning, and then I documented this dream. And that's it. That's my tip for the day. Last but not least, peace and love always. Thanks for joining me on this video. Please make sure you like and you subscribe to my YouTube video. And if you want to see more of these trainings, or if there's something in particular that you want to hear about, please do comment below. And I look forward to talking to you very, very soon on the other side. Bye-bye.